First off, I feel like one of them dudes on like Nickelodeon. You know, the dude that walks around with the sausage in his mouth. That one had a piece of artichoke. That's good. So I was thinking about psychology and physics. Now, a lot of people like to keep them separate, but physicists tend to use is it Occam's razor as a way of, you know, how do I explain that? Well, the more simple a theorem's basis, or simple but not simpler, and some people get offended by the word simpler. How about that? Now, if you can't explain it simple enough to explain it, to teach it to, if you can't teach it simply, you don't know it enough to teach it. Now, if you can't teach it to a child, then maybe you need to make it simpler. And that's what my goal has been for a while. Excuse me. I know I need shave. And I know my camera kind of sucks. But that's what happens when you get government phones. Thank you, Obama. I'm not complaining. Maybe this is my Obama insurance. I mean, our president, this has to do with psychology. You know, he didn't even recognize his own forefather. But he's sitting there yelling, Nobel, Nobel, where's my Nobel? Now, this has to do with physics. All points in time connected to a single now. Equal and opposite. Mask on, mask off. Are we painting something? Hey, wait. Actually, I seen a commercial a long time ago about a graffiti artist. And we need people like you in the school. Which makes perfect sense, as all subjects in college are arts, except for politics. Now, politics is considered a science because it's just implemented. Because politics, whatever works. And we figure out the social aspect, the personal aspect, you know, the social sciences, social arts, the psychological implications and whatnot. Now, I've said stuff about Einstein and his wife, and yeah, I still plan on doing that, maybe. I don't know, it's not that big a deal. Like, I don't want to make fun of it. It feels kind of weird. I'm glad somebody already did. You know, he did the potatoes with the forks, made them dance. And he had hair similar to mine. You know, Charlie Chaplin. What? Driving a fast car, so living in a fast. Chase Chapman? De La Soul? What? Okay, maybe they're part Hispanic. Maybe they're just brown. I'm brown. Ew. No, but, you know, actually Albert Einstein's theory on, well, his proof, the proof for his whole general relativity, actually recently by a dude named Douglas Singleton, and he caught it before me. Now, a lot of his work, I got directly to him. Entropic derivation of force equals mass times acceleration in circular motion is actually my idea. I will not say it is not. I did not title it, for if I had, it would come with waves like the ocean, which it did whenever I went and presented my definition of gravity at Puget Sound University, which somebody came back and corrected, I believe. Or, I don't know, maybe they had a GASAP paper And mine was gravity as simple as possible. Gas app, comma, but not simpler. There's the beans. Raspberries. And, you know, well, all points in time being connected to the single now. Whenever I think of yesterday's nows, tomorrow's nows, that's like goal setting. You know, either it could be a Dow, somebody can read your fortune, somebody can, what do they call it? Prophesy over you. And, you know, such things can always, you know, depending on your path, other situations, you know, can come true. And, but for some reason, it seems like we're always trying to fight each other because we have different understandings. Not really different beliefs, just different understandings on our simple belief systems. Now, whenever I think of things like antimatter, maybe they got that backwards. You know, like Albert Einstein got, well, he said whenever that star came by, you know, that space was crunched. But what he was trying to do was crunch atoms. You know, enough pressure that they would bloom and turn into energy. Now they're antimatter once they become energy. Now I know this is correct, although they do still have mass as E equals mc squared. Now me and the former head of physics at Fresno State, we had this discussion a long time ago, and this was before the Higgs boson was discovered. And I was like, no, E equals mc squared. That means everything is connected. If it is here, it has mass. Even energy has mass because mass is condensed energy. Now, Stephen Hawking also explained, you know, you can't go back before the Big Bang because that is a negative force. And I was like, what? Well, if it came from somewhere, potentially, then that has to be a positive force. Now, for it to boom into existence and, whoa, it found a place or made a place or whatever, you know, as space is, you know, even space, out in outer space, there is gravity there. You know, there's general gravity. Now, there's also relative gravity. And that has to do with how much mass is in an area. And I know, you know, like Albert Einstein was in the middle of a divorce. He was working on splitting atoms. He was working on his divorce. And he was under a lot of pressure. There was a lot going on during World War II, you know. And we have a lot going on now. I have written in my stuff about, you know, possibly, you know, I don't know. The former Mrs. Bezos, couple Bezos. I'm just joking. That's a joke. But, I mean, seriously, too. You know, we got to think more about just making money, escaping from Earth, and saving ourselves from a dying Earth. You know, we got to put our money where our mouth is. I mean, she said her money was going to be given to nonprofit or going to charity or whatever. And the best charity I can think for that for all of us is buying the Amazon. You know, not Amazon, Bezos. I mean, the Amazon. Like, now, our president, he was talking about, oh, you know, our economy will be fixed in like a month or two. And we're sitting there roasting paradise over campfire. Or maybe the other way around. That could be switched up. I'm not sure. And that was 2 months, you know, that was just a minute later. And then, oh, our economy will be fixed in a week. And the very next day, the Amazon's on fire. And this seems a little less than coincidental, you know, as all things are connected. All points in time are single now. And you can cross points in time over points in time, just like the book Slaughterhouse-Five. I mean, obviously, you can see what's coming, and you can see where it's headed. And our actions have everything to do with the consequences or positive effects. And I know I'm not a perfect human being. You know, I've been under a lot of stress myself. I've been working on this for 12 years. I've gotten physics to Fresno State. I never got my credit for it. I've been escorted off Fresno State multiple times. Now, whenever I met Sergeant Gavel, you know, I was trying to be nice. I was like, officer. I was all, Sergeant Gavel. And I'm not mad at the guy. Me and him, actually, we get along just fine. You know, he's the one that told me to contact an attorney. Now, when I did contact an attorney, they explained to me that they are on retainer by Fresno State. Now, whatever. That doesn't mean that they have every right just to burn somebody, you know, like, and now, I mean, as childish as this seems, you know, the School of Higher Education, of Higher Learning, they have a commercial. We are an LLC company. No, you're not. You're a freaking school. You're part of the federal government. I mean, if I can't smoke on campus because it is part of the federal government now, why do you get to be also an LLC, a limited liability company? Now, is our federal government now a limited liability company? That's a simple question. I mean, is it? Is our president buying the whole thing? I mean, he's already responsible for much, and I guarantee this. There's no question in my mind for much of the housing bubble. And it popped, you know, like Running Horse right here in Fresno, California. He was here. Another thing he went bankrupt on, he didn't just lose his own fictitious name on a casino, you know, and I wrote a video, or I threw something out there. It was my journeyman card. It was made of steel, some kind of metal, sharpened it up here. But that was, you know, something smart from like some dude in black. Yeah, Black Lives Matter, even white lives that are black, you know, people that understand other people and love all people. Just in fact, even though we have trouble with people, and we have trouble with ourselves, and we have trouble, you know, it gets hard inside sometimes, because sometimes it's so soft. It gets soft inside sometimes, because sometimes outside's so hard. I mean, our president looks so soft and such, and he ain't got no heart. I really don't believe he has a heart in his chest. I mean, look at him from the start. Whenever he started talking and telling us what was going on, he was saying people are going to get one box of food. How much is he worth? I mean, he owns banks. You know what filled up those banks? Our housing bubble. You know what filled that up? People's lives. I mean, people were committing suicide. And this is honest. This is real. I mean, maybe he didn't deal with the psychological part of that. Maybe that's why he still, you know, freaks out about certain things. You know? Like, I don't want to pay my taxes. What? He got away with... He had the paperwork written up to where he wasn't going to pay taxes. Even when he went bankrupt on it, you know, Running Horse. Is that a real person? No, that's just his fictitious name. Let's just dig holes in Running Horse, walk around on cleats, and dip our little dimply white balls in it. We'll even put flags where our little dimply white balls go. And that's just a game. I mean, a sport. But, you know, actually in Salt Lake City, I gotta tell this story. And this is a real one. This ain't a tale. Well, it is a tale. It's T-E-L-L. It's true. Like, I was in politics class out there. They said my records got lost in a flood. Whatever. Floods happen. Caligula. What sounds more real? I mean, some guy that owns, you know, he's a warrior, blah, blah, blah. Brings them in 2 by 2. Those are females. He's got a harem. They built a big boat, put it on a little lake. You can see something similar in secondhand lions. Global warming. Hey, secondhand lions. Well, I don't know. I got a buddy. His name's Kelvin, or Calvin. It used to be spelled Kelvin, like how we measure temperature. Hey, what's up, Mr. Hobbs? That's Steve Hobbs, for Jobs. It all depends what side of the border you're on. Is that my ex? Or the company me keep. Me company I keep. You know, my son told me that accounting is not about money. Accounting is the history of your company. Now, it is important for us as human beings, as Americans, as individuals, as anyone, to understand the people that we are working with, the company we are keeping. And that is why it's important to see our president's financial records. You know, if we don't even know who he is, he's just the reality TV star, but his whole job is realty. You know, he was right there on the realty market. He was buying, selling, trading, right there. There was a photo op. He showed up for a photo op. Now, I could care less if he went and bought that picture because he offered somebody way too much money for it or what, but he stopped and took a picture. He stopped, and there was a makeup artist. There was a whole article about it. I read it. I'm not making this up. I mean, he doesn't wear makeup? Then how come he looks like a reverse raccoon now? He didn't used to see raccoon eyes in white. I mean, that's very simple. And I did say something, you know, like I got sick of all the lies, the deceit, and everything. I was just like, this is with everything I've got. Satan can't even say spray tan without the fear of revealing his own face, man. And I mean, I know that's stupid and simple, but limericks, psalms, you know, they've meant something in the past. And I think, well, being points are connected in time as a single now, as a book written now in the past can be here now and can be here in the future, you know, those points are obviously physically connected. As I can right now think of yesterday's nows and the places I've thought in my mind and tomorrow's nows. Like whenever the Amazon lit on fire the day after our president said